Let me tell you something that changed my life. You don't become unstoppable by accident. You become unstoppable by design. And that design, it's built on your habits every single day. Most people wake up and react to life. The clock rings, the phone buzzes, the emails scream for attention, and they go through the motions, but they're not building anything. They're just coping. They are cogs in a machine they didn't build, running on a track they didn't lay, wondering why they feel a deep, unshakable sense of emptiness. They live a life of quiet desperation, putting out fires, answering to everyone else's demands, and at the end of the day, they collapse onto the couch, too exhausted to even dream. That exhaustion isn't just physical, it's a soul-deep weariness that comes from living a life that isn't truly yours. It's the profound fatigue of a spirit that knows, deep down, it was made for more. Now listen, and listen close. Success doesn't come from a massive earth-shattering change overnight. It comes from a few simple disciplines practiced with relentless consistency. I used to wonder why some people rise while others barely survive. I looked at them, the titans of industry, the artists who move souls, the athletes who defied limits, and I thought they were born different. I thought they had some secret, some magic pill I hadn't found. I saw their highlight reels and compared them to my behind-the-scenes struggles. And then I discovered the answer, and it hit me like a lightning bolt. It's not luck. It's not talent, not in the way you think. It's not about being gifted. It is about daily habits. It's about what they do when no one is watching. It's the boring, unsexy, repetitive work that builds an extraordinary life. And in this video, I want to share with you the 10 daily habits that made me unstoppable. Habits that brought order to my day, clarity to my thinking, and power to my actions. So if you're tired of feeling stuck, if you're sick of the gnawing feeling in your gut that tells you you're capable of more, and if you are ready to take control of your time, your mind, and your future, then don't just watch this video. Study it, internalize it, let it become a part of you, because one idea, one habit can change everything. It can be the 1-degree shift in your trajectory that over time leads you to a completely different destination. Let's begin. Habit 1, plan your day before it begins. Let me give you one of the most powerful ideas you'll ever hear. Don't start your day until it's finished. Now you might say, Jim, what does that mean? It means that you should never walk into a day unprepared. You should never wake up and wonder what to do, because if you do, life will take over. The world will hand you its agenda, and you will follow it, exhausted and unfulfilled. And if you don't have a plan, trust me, someone else does. Your boss has a plan for you. The advertisers have a plan for you. The distractions have a plan for you. They are all fighting for a piece of your most valuable asset, your focus. Without a plan of your own, you are a ship without a rudder, at the mercy of every current and every wind. See, most people live by reaction, not by intention. They wake up and the first thing they do is grab their phone, letting a flood of notifications, bad news, and other people's priorities wash over them. They start their day in a state of defense, already behind, already scattered. They are immediately consumed by what I call the tyranny of the urgent, the little things that scream for attention but rarely contribute to their long-term vision. They chase whatever's urgent, whatever's loudest, and call that living, but I call that surviving, not thriving. It's the difference between being the captain of your ship and being a piece of driftwood tossed around by the waves. I remember a time in my life when I was the king of busy. I was always running, always stressed, always feeling like I was on the verge of accomplishing something great. My calendar was packed. My phone was always ringing. I wore my exhaustion like a badge of honor. But at the end of the week, I'd look back and realize I hadn't moved the needle on any of my real goals. I was just spinning my wheels in the mud of mediocrity. Why? Because I had no plan. I was a firefighter, not an architect. I was dealing with problems as they arose instead of building the future I wanted. I was suffering from severe decision fatigue. By 10 a.m., I had already made so many small, meaningless decisions that when it came time to make an important one, I had no mental energy left. Now here's the truth. The difference between a busy person and a productive person is the plan. A plan gives your day structure. It gives your time purpose. And most importantly, it gives you control. The act of planning doesn't take long. Just 10 quiet minutes in the morning, or better yet, the night before. And in that time, you decide. You decide what matters. You decide what gets done. You decide who gets your attention and who doesn't. You draw a line in the sand and declare, this is what my day will be about. This is the mountain I will climb today. Let me tell you what I do. Before I end my day, I sit down with a simple piece of paper and I ask myself, what are the 3 most important things I need to do tomorrow? Not 30, not 10, just 3. These are the big rocks, the things that if I get them done will make the day a win, no matter what else happens. And I write them down on paper. Because when it's written down, it becomes real. It becomes a contract with yourself. When it's real, it can be achieved. Writing it down forces clarity, it eliminates the noise, and it gives your subconscious mind a clear set of instructions to work on while you sleep. You are literally programming your success in advance. The act of writing engages your mind on a deeper level than just thinking about it. It's a physical act of commitment. There's another secret here. When you plan your day, you don't just control your time. You take control of your emotions. You eliminate the morning confusion. You reduce the stress of the unknown. You walk into the day with a quiet confidence, a sense of purpose, and people notice it. You become the kind of person who's ahead, not always catching up. And let me tell you, there's magic in being ahead. It creates a positive feedback loop. You feel in control, so you act with more confidence, which leads to better results, which reinforces your feeling of control. So, the question I leave you with is this: when will you start finishing your day before it begins? When will you stop letting the world dictate your life? Don't leave your success to luck. Don't leave your peace of mind to chance. Start each day with clarity, purpose, and discipline, because the person who plans the day wins the day. So tonight, before your head hits the pillow, take 10 minutes. Write down your plan, and tomorrow, watch how different your day becomes. Habit 2, feed your mind with wisdom. Let me tell you something I learned early on. Your mind is like a garden. You can plant flowers or you can grow weeds, but either way, something's going to grow. And here's the principle. If you want to live a rich life, you have to feed your mind. It's your most valuable asset. The quality of your thinking determines the quality of your life. Period. Everything you see in the world, every skyscraper, every piece of art, every invention started as a thought in someone's mind. Your life is the same. It is a physical manifestation of the thoughts you consistently hold. The soil of your mind is fertile. The question is, are you intentionally planting seeds of wisdom, courage, and possibility? Or are you letting the wind carry in the seeds of fear, doubt, and negativity from the world around you? Now, I used to think, Jim, I don't have time to read, but then I took a hard look at my life. I had time for television. I had time for gossip. I had time for scrolling through endless feeds of nonsense, comparing my life to the highlight reels of others. What I didn't have was direction. I was feeding my mind junk food, a diet of outrage, fear, and triviality, and then wondering why I felt mentally sluggish and spiritually malnourished. It's like eating donuts for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and wondering why you have no energy and feel sick. The mind is no different. A mental diet of social media and cable news will make your soul sick. So here's what changed everything for me. I made it a non-negotiable daily habit to feed my mind with something wise, something true, something that made me grow. Books, lectures, audio programs, mentors, podcasts, ideas that challenged me, stretched me, improved me. I had a mentor who told me, Jim, miss a meal if you have to, but never miss your daily feeding of the mind. And that stuck with me. Your body can survive a day without food. Your spirit cannot survive a day without hope and wisdom. Why is this so powerful? Because your mind is a filter. It decides how you interpret the world, what you believe about yourself, what you expect from others, what you think is possible. Feed your mind junk, the outrage of the day, the petty dramas, the endless negativity, and you'll live a junk life. You'll become cynical, fearful, and limited. But feed your mind wisdom, and you'll start making better choices, building better habits, and living at a higher level. You begin to see possibilities where you once saw problems. You see opportunities where you once saw obstacles. A challenge becomes a chance to grow, not a reason to quit. I remember reading a book on philosophy, and a single sentence changed my perspective forever. It said, "We don't see things as they are, we see them as we are." I realized that my reality was a reflection of my inner world. If I wanted to change my reality, I had to change myself first. That's the power of an idea. One idea from one book can save you 10 years of mistakes. Here's what I recommend. Start with 10 pages a day, not 100, not 50. Just 10 pages from a great book. A book on personal development, finance, health, relationships, philosophy, leadership, success, whatever area of life you want to improve, feed it. 10 pages a day doesn't sound like much, does it? But that's 3,650 pages a year. That's the wisdom of 10 or 15 life-changing books. And let me tell you, most people haven't read that many books since they were forced to in high school. You do this for 1 year, and you'll be in the top percentile of thinkers in the world. You do this for 5 years, and you will become unrecognizable. Let me say this. If you want your life to get better, your thinking must get better. And if your thinking improves, your decisions improve. And if your decisions improve, so does your income, your relationships, your opportunities, and your joy. You want to be unstoppable? Feed your mind every day without fail. Make it a habit that's as natural as brushing your teeth. Because wisdom will do what motivation alone can't. It will anchor you when life gets hard. It will guide you when the path gets unclear, and it will pull you forward when you're tempted to settle for less than you deserve. So here's the challenge. Find your first book, open to page 1, and let that be the day your mind stopped shrinking and started growing. Let's build a brain that can build a life. That's the power of feeding your mind with wisdom. Habit 3, move your body, master your energy. Let me share a truth that changed everything for me. Take care of your body. It's the only place you have to live. Now, it's easy to talk about dreams, goals, and visions, but if you don't have the energy to pursue them, if your body is tired, weak, or neglected, even the best ideas in the world will sit on the shelf and collect dust. See, I learned early in life, discipline with your health is discipline with your destiny. You cannot separate the two. Your mind needs a strong body to carry it. Your spirit needs energy to move mountains. And your goals, they need fuel. Your body is the orchestra, and your mind is the conductor. If the instruments are out of tune or broken, it doesn't matter how brilliant the conductor is, the music will be terrible. Let me ask you, when's the last time you moved your body? On purpose, not for the mirror, not for anyone else. Just to honor the incredible gift of life you've been given. Let me be clear, you don't need to run marathons. You don't need a fancy gym membership. You just need motion, daily, deliberate, intentional motion. A walk around the block, a stretch in the morning, a short workout in your living room, whatever you can do, do it, and then do it again tomorrow, because movement creates momentum, and momentum creates motivation. And motivation, that's what makes you unstoppable. Emotion is created by motion. If you feel stuck, stagnant, or depressed, the fastest way to change your state is to move your body. Here's a principle I live by. Treat your body like a performance machine, not a storage unit. Think about it. A Formula One driver wouldn't put cheap gas in their car. An astronaut wouldn't neglect the maintenance of their spaceship. Yet, we walk around with this miraculous biological machine and feed it poison, deprive it of sleep, and let it sit idle for days on end. And then we wonder why we feel terrible. You'll be amazed how different life feels when your body is firing on all cylinders. You speak with more confidence, you think more clearly, you show up stronger, and people can feel it. There's an aura, a vitality that radiates from a person who takes care of themselves. I remember a period where I was working on a huge project. I was stressed, overwhelmed, and I told myself I didn't have time to exercise. My energy plummeted. My thinking became foggy. I was irritable and unproductive. Finally, out of desperation, I forced myself to go for a run. It was hard. I didn't want to do it, but halfway through, something shifted. The fog started to lift. Ideas started to flow. By the time I finished, I was a different person. I solved more problems on that 30-minute run than I had in the entire week sitting at my desk. I learned a valuable lesson that day. You don't have time not to exercise. Exercise is not a luxury. It is a necessity for high performance. And mastering your energy also means mastering your rest. It means getting enough sleep. It means taking time to recover. A machine that runs constantly without maintenance will eventually break down. So will you. Let me remind you, success is not just mental, it's physical. When your body is neglected, everything suffers. Your focus wanes, your patience thins, your resilience crumbles. But when your body is strong, everything elevates. You can handle more stress. You can work longer and harder without burning out. You can face challenges with a level of grit and tenacity that a tired person simply cannot muster. Your physical state is the foundation upon which your mental and emotional empires are built. So here's your action step. Move for 20 minutes a day. That's it. Start small, but start now. Stretch, walk, run, dance, train. Just move. Because motion breeds life into your purpose. And purpose without energy is just a wish. You want to lead, you want to build, you want to inspire, then master your energy. And it starts with moving your body. Your future self will thank you for it. Habit 4, review your goals daily. Let me share something with you that separates the ordinary from the exceptional. Goals are like magnets. They pull you toward your future, but only if you keep them in front of you. Only if you remind yourself every single day what you're aiming for. Now let me ask you, do you know where you're going? And better yet, have you looked at it today? Because here's what I've learned. Most people don't fail for lack of goals. They fail because they forget them. They write them down once on January 1st, get all excited, and then bury them in a drawer and call it ambition. But I'll tell you this, a goal not reviewed is a goal soon replaced. Replaced by distraction, replaced by doubt, replaced by the noise of the world, pulling you in every direction but your own. Think of it like this. Society, your old habits, your comfort zone, they all have a gravitational pull. It's the pull of the ordinary. If you don't actively fight against it, it will pull you back down to average. Reviewing your goals is the act of firing up your thrusters. It's a daily declaration that you refuse to be pulled back into orbit around a life you don't want. There's a part of your brain called the reticular activating system. In simple terms, it's a filter. It's the reason why when you decide you want to buy a certain type of car, you suddenly start seeing that car everywhere. The cars were always there, but your brain wasn't looking for them. When you review your goals every day, you are programming this system. You are telling your brain, this is important, look for this. And you will start to see opportunities, meet people, and notice resources that were invisible to you before. It's like giving your brain a heat-seeking missile to lock onto your target. Here's what I did. Every morning, before the world had a chance to speak, I reviewed my goals. I read them, I visualized them, I felt them. Why? Because it reminded me who I was, where I was going, and why it mattered. It recentered me. It was my compass in the chaos. See, goals aren't just tasks, they're targets. And if you don't aim daily, you'll drift weekly and fail yearly. I had a goal once that seemed impossible. It was so big, so audacious that I was almost embarrassed to write it down, but I did. And every day I looked at it, and every day I asked myself, what is one small thing I can do today to move closer to this? Some days it was sending an email. Some days it was reading a chapter in a book. Some days it was just holding the vision in my mind when I wanted to quit. And slowly, step by step, the impossible became possible. and then it became my reality. Reviewing your goals also gives you the wisdom to know when to adjust them. A goal is not set in stone. As you grow and learn, you may realize you need to change course. That's not failure. That's intelligence. Let me make this simple. Pick your top 3 goals right now. Big or small, personal or professional, doesn't matter. And starting tomorrow morning, do this. Read them out loud. Let them get into your eyes, your ears, your spirit. Speak them until you believe them. Believe them until you pursue them. Pursue them until you achieve them. This daily review brings daily focus. And focus is how you win. You want to change your life? Don't look at your goals on New Year's Eve. Look at them every morning like a commander reviewing the mission, because that's what you are, the commander of your future. Here's the challenge. Put your goals where you can see them. By your mirror, on your phone's lock screen, inside your notebook. Wherever you need to put them there. And then look at them every day, because the more you see them, the more you feel them. And the more you feel them, the more likely you are to make them real. Review your goals daily, because the future belongs to those who prepare for it one day at a time. Habit 5, practice gratitude intentionally. Let me share something with you that doesn't get talked about enough. Gratitude is not an emotion, it's a practice. You see, it's easy to be thankful once a year at a holiday dinner, but the real power, the real transformation that comes when you make gratitude a daily discipline. Because here's the truth, what you focus on expands. If you focus on your problems, they grow. If you focus on your lack, it multiplies. But if you focus on your blessings, something incredible happens. So does your joy, so does your peace, and so does your strength. Gratitude is the ultimate antidote to the modern diseases of comparison and envy. It is a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. I used to think gratitude was just saying thank you, but it's so much more than that. It's a way of seeing. It's a lens. It's a habit of the heart. Most people wake up and their mind immediately scans for what's wrong. They think about the bills they have to pay, the argument they had yesterday, the traffic they're about to sit in. They start their day from a place of deficit, and then they wonder why the day feels heavy, why their energy is low, why the fire is gone. Let me tell you, you cannot build a rich life from a bitter mindset. You've got to train your eyes to see the good, even when life feels hard, even when the road is long. I went through a time in my life where everything fell apart. My business failed, my relationships were strained, and I felt completely lost. I woke up every morning with a feeling of dread in the pit of my stomach. A friend gave me some advice. He said, I know things are tough, but every morning before you get out of bed, find 3 things you're grateful for. I thought it was ridiculous. Grateful for what? But I was desperate, so I tried it. The first day was hard. I'm grateful for my pillow. I'm grateful for the fact that I woke up. It felt forced, but I did it again the next day and the next. And slowly, something began to shift. I started to notice small things, the taste of my coffee, the warmth of the sun, a kind word from a stranger. It didn't change my circumstances overnight, but it changed me. It gave me a foothold of hope in a sea of despair. It was the beginning of my climb back. It physically changed my brain chemistry, releasing dopamine and serotonin, the feel-good chemicals, and reducing cortisol, the stress hormone. So here's what I started doing. Every morning, I wrote down 3 things I was grateful for. Not 10, not 20, just 3 simple things. A good cup of coffee, a warm bed, the chance to try again, the sound of rain, a conversation with a friend, and it changed my spirit. It rewired my brain. It changed my attitude. And listen, it changed how I treated people. Because when you feel grateful, you speak differently. You walk differently. You attract better opportunities. You carry a presence that lifts the room. People want to follow someone who's grateful, not someone who's resentful. Here's the best part. You don't have to wait for something big to happen. Gratitude doesn't require more. It requires awareness. Start where you are. Be thankful for what you've got. The fact that you have eyes to see and ears to hear. The fact that you have a heart that is beating in your chest right now. A miracle of biology that you didn't have to earn. That attitude, that energy, it will make you unstoppable. It turns what you have into enough. and more. It turns denial into acceptance, chaos into order, confusion into clarity. So, here's your challenge. Every morning, before the day begins, write down 3 things you're grateful for, and then feel it. Let it soften your heart. Let it renew your perspective, because gratitude isn't just a good habit. It's a winning habit. And remember, learn to be thankful for what you already have while you pursue all that you want. That's how you grow. That's how you lead. That's how you rise. Habit 6, speak with purpose and positivity. Let me tell you something I learned the hard way. Your words are seeds, and every time you speak, you plant something. Now the question is, what are you planting? Weeds or flowers? You see, some people speak like it doesn't matter. They gossip, they complain, they criticize. They talk about how bad things are, how they never get a break, how everything is against them. And then they wonder why their life feels heavy, why their relationships fall apart, and why opportunity keeps slipping by. They are poisoning their own garden and wondering why nothing beautiful grows. But I'll tell you what I discovered. Words do 2 major things. They provide food for the mind, and they create light for understanding. What you say becomes what you believe. And what you believe becomes what you live. So if you want to raise the quality of your life, you've got to raise the quality of your speech. Now, I'm not talking about fake positivity or ignoring problems. I'm talking about speaking with purpose, speaking with vision, speaking with kindness, intention, and clarity. Because here's the truth. Negative words will destroy your confidence faster than failure ever could. And on the other hand, a word of courage, a word of belief, a word of vision that can change a life, yours or someone else's. The most important conversation you have every day is the one you have with yourself. That inner narrator, the voice in your head, is either your biggest cheerleader or your harshest critic. For most people, it's the latter. So I made it a habit. I watched my mouth. I trained myself to speak about what I wanted, not what I feared. I encouraged others, even when I felt discouraged. I chose to speak life, not limitation. I remember once I was feeling down, but I saw a colleague who was struggling. I went over and told them I believed in them, that I saw their potential. And in that moment of lifting them up, I lifted myself. Speaking positivity is an act of leadership, both for yourself and for others. Let me challenge you right now. How do you speak about yourself? When you make a mistake, do you say, "I'm so stupid"? When you face a challenge, do you say, "I can't do this"? When you think about your future, do you say, "Nothing ever works out for me"? Those aren't just statements, they're agreements. You are programming your subconscious mind, and your life will rise or fall to the level of your words. But what if you change the script? What if instead of "I'm so stupid," you said, "That was a learning experience"? Instead of "I can't do this," you said, "How can I do this?" Instead of "Nothing ever works out," you said, "I'm getting closer to my breakthrough." This isn't about lying to yourself. It's about choosing a more empowering interpretation of the facts. It's about being your own coach, not your own enemy. Speak with belief, speak with hope, speak with vision, and watch your life begin to mirror that energy. Here's your habit. Every day, say something positive about your future. Say something encouraging to someone else. And say something honest that moves you forward, not backward. Because your voice carries power more than you know. Don't use your words to describe your situation. Use them to transform it. Speak as if the world is listening, because it is. And more importantly, so are you. Habit 7, reflect, refine, and prepare for tomorrow. Here's a habit I wish I had learned sooner. Let your past be a school, not a club. Most people end their day by collapsing into it, tired, drained, distracted. They turn on the TV, scroll through their phone, and shut their brain off. They shut the lights and call it a day, but they never really learned from it. And so they repeat the same mistakes day after day, year after year. They carry the baggage of yesterday into today and wonder why their load is so heavy. Let me tell you, if you want to be unstoppable, if you want to make progress faster than the average man or woman ever will, you've got to make it a habit to reflect, refine, and prepare every night. This habit is the glue that holds all the others together. It's where you assess your performance and make adjustments. An unexamined life is not worth living, but an unexamined day is a wasted opportunity for growth. Think of it like a pilot's post-flight debrief. After every flight, they review what went right, what went wrong, and what they'll do differently next time. It's not about blame, it's about improvement. It's essential for safety and success. Your life is no different. Just before you shut the world off, take 10 minutes, just 10, and ask yourself 3 questions. 1, what did I do well today? Celebrate your wins no matter how small. This builds confidence. 2, what could I have done better? This isn't about beating yourself up. It's about honest self-assessment. Where did I get distracted? Where did my discipline waver? 3, what will I change tomorrow? This is about turning insight into action. Based on what I learned today, what adjustment will I make to my plan for tomorrow? That's called personal leadership. That's how you grow. That's how you sharpen your life, one day at a time. Because remember, you don't get paid for the hour. You get paid for the value you bring to the hour. And reflection is how you multiply that value. Now don't just reflect, refine. If today didn't go as planned, why not? Was it a lack of preparation? Did you give your time to the wrong things? Were you focused or just busy? Learn from that. Write it down. Adjust. Refuse to carry today's mistakes into tomorrow. That's what the average person does, but not you. And once you reflect and refine, prepare. This brings us full circle to habit 1. Lay out your goals for the morning. Set your intentions. Clear your mind. Because clarity at night leads to confidence in the morning. This habit is about progress, not perfection. Let me put it this way. If you live each day on purpose, you won't waste years by accident. Small hinges swing big doors. And 10 minutes of nighttime awareness can change the entire direction of your life. It's the difference between stumbling through life and intentionally building it. It's the process of turning experience into wisdom. So here's the habit. Before your day ends, close the loop. Don't leave your mind cluttered. Don't leave your lessons behind. Don't leave your future to chance. Reflect on today, refine your thinking, and prepare for tomorrow. That's the habit of the wise. That's the routine of the productive, and that's how the unstoppable stay unstoppable. Habit 8, practice solitude and silence. Let me ask you a question that might sound strange in our noisy world. When was the last time you were truly alone with your own thoughts? I don't mean alone in the car with the radio blasting or alone in your house with the TV on. I mean complete intentional silence. For most people, the answer is never. We live in a culture that is terrified of silence. We fill every empty moment with podcasts, music, notifications, and noise. We have become so accustomed to constant input that the thought of being alone with ourselves is unsettling, even frightening. But let me tell you a secret, the unstoppable no. All of man's miseries derive from not being able to sit quietly in a room alone. In the silence, you can finally hear the one voice that truly matters, your own. Your intuition, your creativity, your deepest truths. They don't scream, they whisper. And you can only hear them when you shut out the noise of the world. I started a habit years ago that felt incredibly awkward at first. I would set aside just 15 minutes a day to do nothing. I would sit in a chair, no phone, no book, no distractions, and just be. The first few times were torture. My mind raced. I thought of 100 things I should be doing. I felt the urge to jump up and be productive, but I forced myself to stay. And after a few days, something amazing happened. The mental chatter started to die down. The storm in my mind began to calm. And in that newfound quiet, ideas started to surface. Solutions to problems I'd been wrestling with for weeks just appeared. I began to understand my own feelings and motivations on a deeper level. I began to reconnect with myself. This practice of solitude isn't about being unproductive. It's the opposite. It is the most productive thing you can do. It is where you untangle the knots in your thinking. It's where you separate your own goals and desires from the ones society has imposed on you. It's where you find the clarity to make the right decisions, not just the easy ones. You cannot lead a powerful life if you are a stranger to yourself. And you get to know yourself in the quiet moments. So here is your challenge. Find 10 minutes a day, just 10 minutes to be in silence. Go for a walk without your phone. Sit in a park. Find a quiet corner of your home. At first, it will feel uncomfortable. Your mind will fight you, but stick with it. Because on the other side of that discomfort is a level of peace, clarity, and self-awareness that you cannot find anywhere else. In a world that is constantly shouting for your attention, the ability to find silence is a superpower. It is the source of all great ideas and the foundation of a centered, unstoppable life. Habit 9, embrace productive discomfort. Here's a hard truth. Your comfort zone is a beautiful place, but nothing ever grows there. Every dream you have, every goal you want to achieve, every bit of growth you desire lies just on the other side of what feels comfortable. Most people spend their entire lives avoiding discomfort. They choose the easy path, the familiar routine, the predictable outcome. And in doing so, they build a cage for themselves, a cage with soft, comfortable walls, but a cage nonetheless. To become unstoppable, you must learn to befriend discomfort. You must intentionally and consistently do things that are hard, things that stretch you, things that make you feel a little bit scared. I'm not talking about reckless danger. I'm talking about productive discomfort. The discomfort of having a difficult conversation you've been avoiding. The discomfort of learning a new skill that makes you feel clumsy and incompetent at first. The discomfort of pushing your body to do one more rep at the gym. The discomfort of picking up the phone to make a sales call you're afraid to make. I used to hate public speaking. The thought of it made my palms sweat and my heart race. I would do anything to avoid it. But I knew that to grow my business and my influence, I had to overcome this fear. So I made a decision. I joined a public speaking group. The first time I had to stand up and speak, I was terrified. My voice shook. I forgot my words. It was a disaster. I felt the powerful urge to quit, to run back to my comfort zone where it was safe. But I didn't. I went back the next week and the week after that. And each time it got a little bit easier. Each time the fear got a little bit quieter. I was intentionally putting myself in a state of discomfort, and in doing so, I was expanding my capabilities. The fear never completely went away, but I learned to dance with it. I learned that courage isn't the absence of fear. It's acting in spite of it. Your muscles don't grow unless you stress them. Your character doesn't grow unless it's tested. Your skills don't improve unless you push their limits. Every time you choose comfort over courage, you shrink your world a little bit. Every time you embrace productive discomfort, you expand it. You are teaching your brain a powerful new lesson, that you can handle hard things, that you are more resilient than you thought, that you can feel fear and do it anyway. So here's your habit. Every day, do one thing that makes you uncomfortable. It doesn't have to be massive. Take a cold shower, speak to a stranger, share an idea you're nervous about. Choose the stairs instead of the elevator. The goal is to make discomfort your training ground, to build your courage muscle. Because the person who is willing to be uncomfortable is the person who will achieve the extraordinary. While others are huddled in the safety of their comfort zone, you will be out there growing, learning, and becoming unstoppable. Habit 10, serve someone else. This may be the most important habit of all. We've talked about planning your day, feeding your mind, mastering your body, and focusing on your goals. But a life lived only for oneself will ultimately feel empty. The final key to becoming truly and deeply unstoppable is to find a way to serve, to contribute to something larger than yourself, to make someone else's life better. We live in a culture that often promotes a very self-centered version of success. It's about getting yours, climbing the ladder, and accumulating more for yourself. But I have found, both in my own life and in studying the greatest leaders and achievers in history, that the deepest and most lasting fulfillment comes not from what you get, but from what you give. When you shift your focus from what can I get to what can I give, Zrania, a profound transformation occurs. Your problems seem smaller, your purpose becomes clearer, your motivation becomes unshakable. I remember a time when I was so focused on my own problems, my own struggles, that I became trapped in a cycle of anxiety and self-pity. I felt stuck. A mentor gave me some advice. He said, "Jim, if you're feeling helpless, go help someone." It seemed counterintuitive. How could I help someone else when I could barely help myself? But I took his advice. I found a local soup kitchen and volunteered for an afternoon. I spent a few hours serving meals to people who had far less than I did. I listened to their stories. I offered a kind word. And when I left that day, I felt like a different person. My own problems hadn't magically disappeared, but my perspective on them had completely changed. I had been reminded of our common humanity, of the power of connection, and of the incredible joy that comes from making a positive impact, no matter how small. Serving others is the ultimate cure for self-absorption. It connects you to a purpose beyond your own ego. It could be mentoring a young person, it could be volunteering in your community, it could be using your skills and talents to solve a problem in the world. It could be as simple as being a better listener for a friend in need, or going out of your way to help a colleague at work. The scale of the action doesn't matter as much as the intention behind it. When you serve, you create a ripple effect of positivity that comes back to you in ways you can't even imagine. You build stronger relationships, you develop new skills, you gain a reputation as a person of value and integrity. You find a source of motivation that doesn't depend on your mood or your circumstances because it's rooted in a commitment to others. So here is your final habit. Every day, ask yourself this simple question: who can I serve today? Look for opportunities to lift someone up, to solve a problem, to offer a helping hand, to share your knowledge, to simply be a source of encouragement. A life of service is a life of meaning, and a person with a deep sense of meaning and purpose is truly, fundamentally unstoppable. Small habits, big life. So there you have it. 10 simple habits that changed my life. Not overnight, but over time. You see, success isn't one big moment. It's not one lucky break. It's not even one great idea. Success is a few simple disciplines practiced every single day. That's it. That's the truth. It's the compounding interest of self-discipline. Now, you might be thinking, "Jim, these habits sound too simple." And you're right. They are simple. But here's the danger. What's easy to do is also easy not to do. It's easy to skip the plan. It's easy to scroll instead of read. It's easy to complain instead of move. It's easy to forget your goals. It's easy to take things for granted. It's easy to speak without care. It's easy to go to bed without learning from the day. And that's the trap, because each time you skip a small habit, you drift a little further from the life you want. Each small compromise seems insignificant in the moment, but they compound over time into a life of regret. It's like a ship leaving the harbor that is off course by just 1 degree. After a day, it's barely noticeable, but after a month, it's miles off course. After a year, it's in a completely different ocean. Your daily habits are that 1 degree, but here's the good news. That same principle works in your favor. You start planning your days, feeding your mind, moving your body, reviewing your goals, practicing gratitude, speaking with purpose, reflecting, finding silence, embracing discomfort, and serving others. And suddenly, you look up one day and your whole life has changed. Your confidence is higher, your relationships are better, your energy is back, and you're becoming someone you're proud of. Small habits, when repeated daily, build a big life, a life of clarity, a life of discipline, a life of direction, a life worth living. So here's my challenge to you, my final plea: don't wait. Don't wait for Monday. Don't wait for the new year. Don't wait until you feel like it. That day will never come. Motivation is what gets you started. Habit is what keeps you going. Pick one habit, just one, and start today. And tomorrow, do it again and again and again, because the person who controls their habits controls their future. This is how you become unstoppable. This is how you build a life you don't need to escape from. One small step, one strong habit at a time. The journey begins now. What will you choose?